Did you know that there were ruins underneath the Boston airport? You get to explore these ruins during the quest Duty or Dishonor, part of the Brotherhood of Steel questline. After completing the quest The Lost Patrol, check in with Lancer Captain Kells. He has another task for you.
I've received reports that supplies have been disappearing from our supply depot at the airport. I suspect this may be an inside job.
You're worried about petty theft?
It's hardly petty. More than 20 crates are unaccounted for.
Let the scribes deal with this.
They filed the reports. This is now a security matter, and security is your job, Sentinel.
An inside job? Do you have any suspects?
This is treason we're talking about. In a case like this, you are either sure or you are not. Until then, everyone is a suspect.
If so, that's a serious security risk.
That's what worries me. If there is a traitor, our entire operation here could be in jeopardy. I want you to take charge of this investigation. Report to Night Sergeant Gavel at the base. He commands our logistics division. He can familiarize you with his unit and the depot. Beyond that, you have leave to conduct your investigation as you see fit. Report your findings directly to me. Is that clear?
Is there anything else I should know?
Gavel will fill you in on the details. But from my perspective, the strangest thing is what was stolen. Rations. Only rations. I don't know what to make of it, but it is curious. But understand, treason is a serious charge. If someone in the Brotherhood is responsible for this, I need proof before I can act.
Do I need to keep my investigation a secret?
It's too late for that. Rumors have already begun to spread. Sergeant Gavel and his team will be expecting you, but that only makes your task more difficult. Whoever is doing this will have had time to prepare.
I have other responsibilities, Captain.
I'm making this your responsibility, Sentinel.
Yes, sir.
I expect results. See that I get them. Dismissed.
You find Night Sergeant Gavel in the old, dilapidated airport terminal. He's not thrilled to see you.
Sergeant Gavel.
Let me guess. Captain Kells sent you?
That's right. You're in charge here?
I am, and you're here about the missing supplies. Let's take this somewhere more private. Follow me. We've converted this section of the terminal into our primary supply depot. Everything the Brotherhood needs to operate passes through here. Supplies from the Pridwin, salvage from the field, we handle it all. Access is strictly limited to the logistics detail, and we track every crate, every bullet, every bolt that comes through that door. Which is why I don't take kindly to these accusations. I know every soldier in this unit. The thought that anyone would question their loyalty makes me sick. If you've got questions, ask. Otherwise, try to stay out of our way, sir.
Tell me about the logistics division.
I've been in charge of this unit for almost 10 years now. We're a small group. We stick together. And we keep the Brotherhood running.
Tell me about the missing supplies.
We're down over 20 crates, if you believe the scribes. All food. Dried meat, Instamash, mac and cheese. It doesn't make sense. I could see someone stealing weapons or tech, but our thief goes to all this trouble for a lifetime supply of cram?
Where should I begin my investigation?
You shouldn't. This is a waste of time. I've already spoken with my men. They haven't seen anything. Tegan's scribes just fouled up the books again. If you insist on questioning someone, go bother Lucia or Clark. I can spare them.
Lucia and Clark.
Knight Lucia and Initiate Clark. They were just posted to this detail a few weeks ago. They're still learning their way around, but I'll have them in shape soon enough. If you have to badger someone with your questions, it might as well be them. Take my advice, sir. Poke around a little, then tell the captain to let it go. It's not worth your time or mine.
The man is less than helpful, but you are on an honest-to-goodness investigation, and it's your duty to follow up with all leads. First, we talk with Initiate Clark.
Clark.
You're here about the thefts, right? Look, I already told Sergeant Gavel everything I know.
You already spoke with Gavel?
He questioned the entire unit. None of us saw anything.
Watch your tone, Initiate.
I'm sorry, sir.
I'm conducting this investigation, Initiate. I have some questions for you.
Whoa. This is a formal investigation now? Look, I want to get to the bottom of this as much as anyone. What do you want to know?
You really think the base is that secure?
We're in the middle of a hardened military base, under constant guard. Nothing's getting in or out of here without us knowing about it.
Tell me about the missing supplies.
I really don't know anything. I've heard the rumors, same as everyone else. That that's all.
What rumors have you heard?
Well, they say raiders with stealth boys hit the terminal every night, that supplies disappear faster than we can bring them in. It's a lot of garbage. I usually work the night shift. Believe me, the only thing you risk dying of is boredom.
Tell me about the logistics unit.
There are what, 10 of us now? Something like that. Our division reports to Proctor Teagan, up on the Pridwin. Sergeant Gavel handles day-to-day operations. He's run logistics for years. Other than the sergeant, there's Lucia, me, the scribes, and a few other knights who aren't fit for field duty.
Lucia?
Excuse me, Knight Lucia. We joined the Brotherhood together. She'll probably get assigned to a patrol team soon. Me? I'll still be stuck here.
He does sound a little jealous that Lucia was promoted instead of him. Next up is Lucia, who seems to be a little preoccupied.
Knight.
Copper wire. Could you tell me where... Oh, I'm sorry, I don't think we've met. Knight Lucia. Logistics. What can I do for you, Sentinel?
I'm conducting an investigation into the missing supplies.
You're looking into this personally, sir? Is it really that bad? I'm not sure I can be of much help, but, what do you want to know?
What's the security like around here?
It's tight. At least 2 knights and a scribe on duty at all times. And we've got the entire base right here. We don't have much to worry about.
Is there any way to get past all that security?
Well, you'd have to be in logistics. We're the only ones authorized to bring supplies in or out. Then what? Well, there's no way you'd get a full crate of supplies off base. With all the patrols, someone would notice. But why steal anything in the first place? The Brotherhood provides everything we need. No one here has any connection to the Commonwealth. I don't know. None of this makes any sense.
Do you know anything about the missing supplies?
Not really. I've heard it's mostly food and, vacuum tubes? No, sorry, they just lost those.
You lost some vacuum tubes? How often are supplies lost around here?
Someone had just filed them in the wrong place, apparently. Clark found them the next day. The little things do happen, but it never amounts to much. The sergeant may complain, but Proctor Teagan and his scribes are very thorough. 1 or 2 crates maybe, but not this many.
Both leads are dead ends. Where do we go from here? Well, there's a supply depot terminal next to Gavel's workstation. We can go through each of the incoming and outgoing supply orders, and none of them really mention any missing food. We do find that Proctor Teagan is ordering a bunch of bottles of liquor. The man does love his whiskey. At this point, if you want, you can go back to Captain Kells and tell him that you just couldn't find anything.
I wasn't able to learn anything new.
I'm disappointed, Sentinel. I'll have our food stores moved and double the guard. I suppose that's the best we can do for now.
I don't believe there were any thefts, Captain. The reports were wrong.
That's what Sergeant Gavel said. Very well. I'll have Teagan keep a closer watch on his men. These mistakes are a waste of everyone's time.
But you can find more clues if you visit Clark and Lucia's bunks. In Clark's footlocker at the base of his bed, we find a key to Lucia's footlocker and a note from Lucia. In her note, Lucia feels betrayed. Clearly, she and Clark were at one point friends, but now Clark is going through her locker. She knows he's up to something, but she's not reporting him like she should. You can use the key to open Lucia's footlocker. Inside, we find a holotape diary with 4 entries. We learn that Lucia is proud to have been promoted from initiate to knight. She has great admiration for Elder Maxon, and she thinks joining the Brotherhood was one of the best decisions she's made in her life. She's sad that Clark has not been promoted yet. She's noticed a change in his behavior and says that he's been avoiding her recently. Clark just said he wasn't feeling well. Clark's evasiveness continues over the following days. Everyone came up to congratulate Lucia after her promotion, even Proctor Ingram. But Clark continued to avoid her. He's also been shirking his duty and staying out late, even past midnight. Both Lucia and Clark then got assigned to logistics, where we met them. Lucia notes that Clark doesn't seem all that interested in his job. At first, she thought that he was just jealous that she got promoted over him, but now she thinks there's something else there. She says that she thinks he's just given up. At last, Lucia's patience is finally wearing thin. She has to keep reminding Clark to not be late to his shifts. And then she found out that he's been rummaging through her footlocker. Clearly, Lucia knows that something is up with Clark. You can go back to Gavel and tell him about this, but he really doesn't care.
I found Lucia's journal. She's been covering for Clark.
Sir, petty discipline is my job. I can handle the men in my unit. This is none of your concern.
He just wants you out of his business. So instead, you can go to Lucia herself.
You've been covering for Clark. Why?
What? What are you talking about?
I read your journal, Lucia. I want to know what's going on here.
You what? All right. Clark and I joined the Brotherhood around the same time. He's been my closest friend for years, but since the battle, I feel like I'm losing him.
The battle?
Battle for the airport. It was our first real combat mission. It was something to see. The Pridwin coming in under full vertebrate escort, guns blazing. We were one of the first teams to hit the ground. Dozens of ferals. We opened fire and cut them down, and hunted the ones that tried to run. It was everything I had hoped for. But Clark, he hasn't been the same since. It's like he's just given up. Since then, I've noticed him slipping off by himself, once or twice a day. I never thought much of it, but do you think you could follow him? See what he's doing? His shift should be over in a few minutes. Maybe it's nothing, but I'm worried about him.
After everything Clark's done, she still cares for him and hopes that he's gonna be okay. As soon as you finish that conversation, Clark ends his work for the day.
All right, that's it for today.
He walks off. If you follow him, he'll stop, turn around, and ask you what's going on.
Look, I'm off duty. Leave me alone.
Hey, Clark.
I don't want to talk right now. Whatever it is, it can wait.
He continues on, and you can try to sneak behind him, but if your stealth is not very good, he'll catch you. When he does, he confronts you.
Hey, what are you doing out here?
I could ask you the same question.
Look, I'm just out for a walk, all right? I'm not on duty. I can do what I want with my spare time. Don't sneak up behind me like that. This place is bad enough. I'm gonna head back in a few minutes. Don't wait up.
After this, you can try again. You need to shadow him from a distance. You can keep track of him with the quest marker that will hover over his head. After following him for a while, you watch him disappear behind a doorway in the very back of the airport. This leads to the abandoned Boston Airport ruins. We find ourselves in a stairway with a non-functioning elevator. You need a key to get it to work. The door to the left leads to baggage claim, and you can see through it, and you can tell that there's something there, but you can't get through. The door is broken. Instead, you can go through the door to the right, which leads to the parking garage. As soon as you reach the motorized walkways, feral ghouls crawl from the rubble and attack. After dispatching them, you find a broken door to the left, and through that door, the corpse of Knight Rylan. Be sure to loot his holotag, it becomes important later. Continuing on leads to a partially submerged section filled with even more feral ghouls. The broken floor above you creates a ramp that allows you to climb up, which takes you to the parking garage. Here we dispatch even more feral ghouls. To the left we find a large safe, partially sunken into the earth, and to the right you can follow the path all the way down to the bottom of the parking garage, killing ghouls along the way. You even stumble upon a glowing one. At the very end, we find an entrance to a subway. These were the trains that brought people to the Boston airport. Inside, we find a slew of ghouls and wrecked subway cars containing a dozen or so skeletons. This one spot has probably the highest concentration of pre-war skeletons than anywhere I've seen in the game. When the bombs dropped, the radiation must have channeled through this tube like a fire, incinerating people as they sat on the train. Through a hole in the wall, you can find a stash of caps, and in one of the side chambers, you can find a tidy stash of chems. At last, the subway opens back up into the airport. This leads to baggage claim. The place is swarming with even more feral ghouls. There are suitcases everywhere, which is a great opportunity for you to take advantage of the Scrounger perk. You can walk away with quite a lot of ammunition. In the baggage claim, you can find a tourist information desk. This desk has a terminal that tells you a little bit about the touristy sites around downtown Boston. If you have not explored many of the places, this is a great way to get new locations on your map. You can read advertisements for the Beantown Brewery, Shamrock Tap House, Fallon's Department Store, the Haymarket Mall, the Secret Treasure of Jamaica Plain, the Boston Library, and even walking the Freedom Trail. Going down the broken stairs leads you to a room with one of the baggage conveyor belts passing through. As you walk by, you begin to overhear a conversation between Initiate Clark and feral ghouls.
Come on. Give it a try. There, that's it. Not bad, is it? Easy now. Hang on. I'll get you some more.
Heading through the door past the tin can chimes, you can confront Initiate Clark.
Who's there? Come out.
Initiate?
What are you doing down here?
I was following you. You led me right to the missing supplies.
Damn it. I thought I was being careful.
Okay. What's going on here, Clark?
Someone was bound to catch me eventually. I can't keep this up forever.
Out with it.
All right, I stole the damn supplies. Isn't it obvious? I'm in logistics. No one even questioned me when I took them out of the terminal. I've been bringing them down here at night to feed the ghouls. It's been working. So far.
What do you mean it's been working? Why are you doing this?
It's a long story.
Of course I'm gonna report this.
I understand. But please, hear me out first. I had a friend who was a ghoul once. As human as you or me. But the Brotherhood says ghouls are abominations. They all deserve to die. Would you kill him too? Just because of who he is?
Was he a feral?
What difference does it make? Weren't they all human once? I joined the Brotherhood 2 years ago. In all that time, I never doubted our beliefs. Never questioned them. But during the battle for the airport, the ghouls, they just kept coming. I killed, I don't even know how many. They started running away, but we kept going. I killed them. I killed them all.
What did you expect? You knew what the Brotherhood stood for.
But I didn't. Not really. Not until that moment.
They were ghouls.
Yes! But damn it, they were people first!
That's war.
They were just running away. Why did they have to die? We slaughtered them. Like animals.
Kid, you did what you had to do.
That's what Lucia said. But we could have stopped. We could have just driven them off. We didn't have to slaughter them. After the battle, I needed some time to think. I found this place. And the ghouls. What could I do? Report it, and they'd all be killed. Ignore them, and they'd attack the base. I thought, if I brought them food, maybe they'd just stay down here. There wouldn't have to be any more killing. Do you think I did the right thing?
Now, there are 3 ways that you can deal with this. The first is to take a hard stance with Initiate Clark. You can be unforgiving and treat him like a traitor.
You've been stealing from the Brotherhood to feed these abominations? That's unforgivable.
Then do what you have to do.
You wouldn't hit him!
If you do, he turns hostile, forcing you to kill him.
I was just getting warmed up.
Additionally, if at any time you attack the feral ghouls that he's been feeding, he gets upset and turns hostile.
No!
Here, I saved this for you.
If you choose this option, you can head back to Captain Kells and tell him that you had to execute Clark.
I executed him. For treason.
Then you did what had to be done. It's a shame. I had high hopes for him.
The second option is to agree with Clark. You can either encourage him to run away because it's your duty to tell Captain Kells the truth, or you can promise to cover for him.
I have to report this. When I do, they'll come for you. You need to get away before that happens.
Leave the Brotherhood? Just like that? You're right. I don't have a future here.
You did what you felt was right. That's what matters.
No one else will see it that way. Or care.
I won't tell anyone. Just make sure I don't regret it.
You won't. I'll find some other way to feed them. No one else will ever know.
If you do, you can go back to Kells and lie to him, telling him that ghouls were the ones responsible. Strangely enough, even if you pass the speech check, Captain Kells doesn't believe you.
Report, Sentinel. Have you completed your investigation into the missing supplies?
Feral ghouls stole them.
You can't be serious. Feral ghouls snuck into our base, raided supplies, and escaped multiple times without anyone noticing?
You underestimate them. An entire den of ferals has been living in the ruins beneath the airport, and you never even noticed.
What? Ferals? That's ridiculous. They'd eat us before they went for our rations. Who really took them?
This leaves you with only two options. Either say that you couldn't find anything, which we covered earlier, or you can betray Clark.
The ruins beneath the airport are filled with ghouls. Initiate Clark has been stealing rations to feed them.
He was what? God, you're serious. He betrayed his oath to the Brotherhood, stole our supplies, and tried to help those abominations?
What's going to happen to him?
He's still a member of the Brotherhood. Even after this treason, he has a right to a fair trial.
I promised to cover for him and send him back to his post.
And he believed you. Then he's a fool as well as a traitor. I'll send some knights to arrest him and secure the evidence. He has a right to a trial before the Elder. But from what you've said today, I don't think the outcome is in any doubt. It's a shame. I had high hopes for him.
The third option is to convince Clark that the Brotherhood ideals are still worth embracing and that he needs to hold himself accountable for his actions.
Of course not. You betrayed the Brotherhood. You put all of our lives at risk.
The Brotherhood is wrong. If we just kill everything we fear, are we really any better than the ghouls? What about the ghouls? What are you gonna do with them?
They're a threat to the base. They have to be destroyed.
No, I won't just stand by and let you kill them. Not again.
Are you really going to risk your life for them?
I already have.
Where do you stand, Initiate? With these ferals, or with the Brotherhood?
I stand by myself, but I won't stand down.
You're a member of the Brotherhood, Clark. As hard as it may be, you have to trust it. Have faith in us.
The Brotherhood is my family. My life. And our beliefs are what holds us together. All right. I trust you. I trust you to do the right thing. Even if it doesn't seem right to me.
If you don't have high enough charisma to choose this option, you can present to Clark the holotag of Knight Rylan.
I found this in the ruins.
It's Knight Rylan's holotag. He worked in the terminal with me. They killed him, didn't they? And as long as they're here, more knights are gonna die. I can't be responsible for that.
You should turn yourself in.
I suppose so. The captain will never understand. But it's the honorable thing to do. You might respect that at least. I need a few minutes to get my thoughts together. Go on ahead. The elevator's in the next room. You can use my keycard. I'll be up soon.
He finally understands that these feral ghouls are monsters that kill indiscriminately. If he leaves them alive, then the blood of other Brotherhood knights are on his hands. You convince him to turn himself in instead of having to either betray him or kill him. Only if you choose this option can you kill the feral ghouls without Clark turning hostile. You can hack into the nearby terminal to activate the protectrons down in the generator room. They'll do much of the work for you, but you still have ghouls to clear out. If you go through the leftmost passage, you find a room with a glowing one inside. Here we also find a very large safe and lots of good loot. Up on the generator platform, most of the generators are destroyed, but there is one with a fusion core inside. Going through the passage on the right is a big loop. You find one feral ghoul and then it brings you back to where you were. You can then use the airport employee card to activate the elevator, which will bring you back to the entrance of the ruins. Now you can go back to Captain Kells and tell him that you've solved the mystery.
I've just received word from Sergeant Gavel. Initiate Clark has made a full confession. I gather we have you to thank for it. Clark has been taken into custody, and I've dispatched a patrol team to secure the ruins. I don't think I could have asked for a better outcome. I have some caps for your service. Also, I'd like you to have a piece of armor from my personal collection. Wear it well, Sentinel.
This is the only option that gets you the Exemplar's T60 torso. Unique legendary power armor is extremely rare in the game, but these Brotherhood quests give you quite a few pieces. This is probably one of the best pieces. Once done, you can find Initiate Clark at the Cambridge police station. The Brotherhood of Steel has him incarcerated. We find Clark doing push-ups behind bars. He has a small little cot and only a sink to wash up with. The nearby terminal says that he is to be held pending trial by the Elder. Charges: larceny, dereliction of duty, and aiding the enemy. This is treason.
Clark.
Turning myself in was the right thing to do, but it doesn't make this any easier. I thought I was doing the right thing. I just don't know anymore. I wonder what's gonna happen to me.
We don't know the ultimate fate of Clark or how Elder Maxon decides to try him. As far as I've been able to tell, he stays in the cell for the rest of the game. Now, you can explore the airport ruins even if you're not doing the Brotherhood of Steel quests. However, it's much more limited. If you go through the door, you can explore the ruins as normal. However, when you get to the bottom of the parking garage, instead of finding a passage to the subway station, you find a working elevator. This working elevator brings you back up top to the above-ground parking garage just outside the bounds of the Boston airport. So unless you do the Brotherhood of Steel quest, you can't explore the rest of the ruins. Except you can. If you're wearing a suit of power armor with a jetpack, go back to the ruins, and in the first room, open up the door to the elevator. If you look up, you find an elevator door on the second floor above you. Use your jetpack to jump up and open the door. This puts you up on top of the main floor, clipping through the world. You can look down into the airport while you walk around up here. Over by baggage claim, you can find a collapsed roof, creating a ramp down into baggage claim. Climb down the collapsed ramp and you're in. You can go back and explore the subway, and you see that there is rubble covering the passageway that you would normally use to enter the subway station. You can go back to the generator room and kill all of the feral ghouls there, and to leave, simply grab the employee key on the desk and activate the elevator. In this way, you can still get the fusion core and all of the ammunition without doing the Brotherhood of Steel quest. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the full story of the abandoned Boston airport ruins. A city of feral ghouls living undiscovered beneath the very feet of the Brotherhood of Steel. What choices did you make during this quest, ladies and gentlemen? Did you empathize with Initiate Clark? Did you feel for him and his non-feral ghoul friend? Do you empathize with him, but you still think he was out of line for granting what are clearly feral monsters the same status as people? Or do you think that Initiate Clark was just simply crazy and a traitor, that he deserves to be killed? Let me know in the comments section below. I read all of your comments, and I use your comments as inspiration for future videos. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe for more Fallout 4 content. I produce a new video every single day of the week, so subscribe to find out what I publish tomorrow. If you'd like to chat about this topic with other like-minded individuals on the Oxhorn Community Discord server, you can find an invitation link in the description of this video. And if you like what I do and you want to support me in a more personal way, consider becoming one of my patrons on Patreon. Patreon subscribers get access to a private channel on my Discord server, as well as a bunch of other cool Oxhorn perks. But more than anything, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just so glad you're here watching this video today. Thanks for watching from the bottom of my heart, and I'll see you tomorrow morning, bright and early, with a brand new video.